Namaskar. Welcome to Conversations with Rakesh. One of my favorite genres is behavioral science, and behavioral science has become a very big part in all our lives that we should understand ourselves. We really don't spend time in understanding ourselves. We spend a lot of time in understanding math, science, making machines, making robots, doing works where we can make more money and buy more houses. But we should ask ourselves, how are we deciding? Do we even decide the right way? Are there better ways of decisions? And this book starts to bring that out that we are so bad in understanding our own selves, and our decisions are sometimes very stupid. And Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, they were two friends. They did a lot of research together, and their story is remarkable. And they wrote this book. Amos Tversky unfortunately died, and Daniel Kahneman got a Nobel Prize for the work that they both did. And there is a book written on both of them also, which you could try and read. So the amount of books and concepts these two people have spawned is phenomenal. So I encourage you to pick this up. It's a little difficult book. So if you can see the TED Talks and Google Talks of Daniel Kahneman and commentaries on this theory called the prospect theory from other academicians and amazing people, there are millions of TED Talks. I think you'll love this book a lot better. So this is book number 2. Third, I love history, and I can't tell you how much we as a society don't regard history as a very important element of our education system. We think it's a boring subject, we don't memorize it, write an exam. It is the most important subject that answers the question, how have we come where we are? And there is a great book, one of my very good friends from Jodhpur recommended. He actually sent me this book. And this book is written by Sunil Khilnani called Incarnations. And it's the story of 50 people of India who shaped our country. It says a history of India in 50 lives. I mean, absolutely delicious. It's like a four page, five page chapter on that person who shaped India, right from thousands of years ago till 1980s. And it is such an amazing read, and it told me so much about things about my own country I did not know. And in fact, BBC has a podcast by Sunil Khilnani on this book, and I encourage you to listen to that, because if you can't read a book, listen to the podcast. It's free. And the last, a lovely book that connects history and science. Simple book, small, simple book. And I told you that I don't like too bulky books. It says The History of Science in Bite-Sized Chunks by Nicola, Charlton, Meredith McCadle. And I chanced on this book on Amazon, and I instantly connected with it because it talks about historical approach towards science. And I am very fascinated with science. So I also follow many scientific authors and their lives. And this book kind of talks about the lives of scientists, that they were also human beings. They made many mistakes, and their inventions and discoveries changed the world. And we are what we are because of these giants on whose shoulders science was built. So I can go on and on, and here are some amazing movies you can all watch if you have time that connect any movie like this movie, which is about science and history. There is a movie on Amazon called the Aeronauts, and it's a story of two scientists, actually one scientist and one pilot of a balloon, and it's on Amazon Prime, I think. They go up and they start to study about the atmospheric pressure, and this was done hundreds of years ago. And if they wouldn't have measured atmospheric pressure, I think it was in late 19th century. If they wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't be flying planes right now. And what an amazing, inspiring journey of these two going up and big storm, and they almost lost their lives, but they came back safe to tell the tale. So please watch such movies.
My love for movies actually was right from my childhood. I would wait for the Sundays on Doordarshan. Sundays you would get a Hindi movie in the evening, and in the afternoon you would get regional movies, and I would lap up both of them. And on Tuesdays, sometimes they would show these amazing English movies as well in the night. So I would watch them as well. But each of these movies left a very huge impression on my way of thinking. When I was in class 9th or 10th, and this was a time where you had like a VCR and you had to put a cassette and used to watch movies. And one of these movies was a famous Hindi movie made in 1971 called Anand. I think this movie changed my life. It completely changed the way I lived and thought and looked at everything. Because Anand was about a bizarre story that I thought all movies had a hero. The hero would beat up everyone, pick up the girl, get married, and all's well that ends well. Here is the exact opposite. The hero dies. And the movie actually starts with the hero coming in the picture with only 6 months to live. And I was amazed by that whole storyline. And the whole concept of this character looking at death and saying that, hey, I still have 6 months to live. Let me enjoy and do what I love most. I think is the best thing that happened to me when I was of that age. So it helped me realize and put things in perspective. And this movie is one of those finest performances of Amitabh Bachchan and Rajesh Khanna and so many other characters about family, friends, and also taught me how to make friends. Because one of the things I find missing in today's life is that we are making a lot of friends on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, but this movie is about personal connections. And Anand always will be the movie I can watch again and again. Even now, when I watch Anand, the sentence that Baba Moshai, Zindagi badi honi chahiye, lambi nahi, I think rings a bell and I am choked when I see that movie every time. So please watch Anand and make sure you don't have distractions because this will take time to sink in. The second movie is again a fantastic Hindi movie made by none other than Satyajit Ray. I think this was the only Hindi movie he made because all his other movies are Bengali movies and I watched many of them. And this movie is a fascinating movie which takes you into Lucknow. And this is the era of 17th century where the Britishers are ruling India. The Nawabs of Awadh and Lucknow are in their own worlds. And it has this macro view of life and then a micro view of life. So the macro view of life is that the Britishers are planning to attack Awadh and Lucknow. There is a king. The king is completely incompetent. He's into arts and culture. So they're trying to have a conspiracy to come and take over. And in that city, there are two Nawabs, brilliantly portrayed by Sanjeev Kumar and Saeed Jafri. And they're rich people. They have lands and they have money. And it's all about Salika and Nazaria and all those beautiful things of life. And they're very, very sweet, nice people. But they have no clue what's happening in the world because they only love one thing, which is Shatranj. And they are chess players and they're learning chess. And chess was founded in India. It was an Indian game that went all over the world. So the movie tries to bring in that micro view of chess and the love of chess by these two players and the macro view, which is the world is changing. These two people are about to completely lose everything they have because the Britishers are going to take over, but they have no clue and they're only focused on chess. If you look at our lives, I think it's very similar. We are so focused on our jobs and careers, and sometimes we don't realize the macro view that hits us. I mean, COVID 19 is such a great example. It happened while all of us were busy in our lives. And when it happened, everything changed. So, movies like Shatranj Ke Khiladi are so well made. And Satyajit Ray and his amazing camera, his team, the music, the art, and the dialogues is mind blowing. So, please watch Shatranj Ke Khiladi. Here's a third one. This is a genre of movies from animation, and I have three kids, and I love to watch animations with them. And one of the best animation movies is called Inside Out. I think it was made in 2015, won some Oscars. Um The movie actually is complex, but the way they have made it for a child to understand is beautiful because it helps a child realize the importance of their emotions, something that many of us don't realize when we grow up. And emotions govern our thought process, they govern our thinking. So the movie is about five emotions in the mind of a girl, and the girl is growing. She was a small baby and now she's becoming a teenager. So imagine the changes in her body and in her mind. So the movie kind of talks about these five basic emotions, which is joy, disgust, fear, anger, and sadness, and tells the learners and the viewers that don't keep focusing on happiness all the time because it's impossible to happy all the time. I think the movie leaves an amazing message to all of us, especially me, that we have to also deal with sadness and fear and anger and disgust and manage them accordingly and realize that our life's choices are governed by emotions. And I think the more we understand ourselves, the better we'll become. And this movie is a brilliant animated version to help you realize your own thought processes, your own memory structures, long term, short term relationships, and decisions through the eyes of a 12-year-old. Look at movies with someone you enjoy with and talk about it. And then go to YouTube and look at videos on how they made the movie, what is the storyline, what is the main reason this movie is very good. And through that, ask yourself, what am I doing? And connect your own life with these things. And it will give you a lovely perspective. In fact, bring your movies into your communication, into your styles of talking, because people will love it and you will get your work done.